I am not an off the dome kind of person because I choose my words so carefully. Like even talking, like I have a hard time not filtering sometimes. But when it comes to like if I'm writing a song, sometimes I'll just be like out and about and I just think of something that might be witty or like a play on words and I'll just put it down in my phone. And sometimes it'll be just a line or a few lines and I'll leave it and I might forget about it and then come back to it later and try to think, okay, either what was I thinking at the time when I wrote it or what does this mean to me now? And that's also inspired some really cool things. Like my other single that I released this year is called Holding On. And that's
a nice record too. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, that song, it started off as a note and it was really depressing when I went back and read the note that inspired that song. It was really sad, but I was just like in the mood to write. And I went back to this really sad note and I took it to a new note and I was like, okay, well, what does this mean to me now? Or what story do I want to tell using this word or whatever? And then it inspired something completely different. So a lot of times the words are the most important thing to me. So they come first most of the time before I have even heard anything.
Okay, so you kind of like just putting your plot down first and then music kind of comes after.
Yeah, because I'm a poet first.
That's dope. What I'm gonna ask you this last thing.
Okay.
Well, I probably got a few more. How do I want to ask this? So how or what? Like, what did you use, or what was the process of sharpening your sword over the years to get good at the level that you're at now?
Oh,
like what is practice for you?
Man,
you know?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Honestly, I struggled in the process of becoming like a recording artist because starting off in theater, that's a totally different world. Like the way that you use your voice is different. The way you perform is different. Theater is very over the top.
Right.
Even like the techniques of singing, like it's really in your face with like musical theater. So, as far as getting to where I am now, it took some time because I used to get a lot of criticism when I was singing like R&B, and I still do sometimes in certain situations or in certain groups. I do because I have really good diction and my voice is very like bright sounding. So sometimes that doesn't really fit in with like
certain
the
genres.
normal. Yeah, like our contemporary R&B is very like mumble singing and it's still really cool, but it's just not the style that I have. So I kind of had to learn how to adapt my voice a little bit to use my breath a little more in my singing so that it wasn't so like steak and potatoes. Like, you know, I got some gravy sometimes now. And then as far as performing, I've been performing since I was 16, but theater is different. Like I said, it's very in your face. It's very, you know, specific about what's happening. But like when you're performing music, you don't necessarily want to act out all the words. Because that could be awkward to watch somebody do. Right. You know, so yeah, that just took you know, a little bit of study. You know, like just watching performers that I admire, and then practice. You know, in 2020 when I came out, like I already had some professional theater things under my belt. Like I worked for Disney Cruise Line as a singer, and I worked in different regional theaters here, getting paid to, you know, perform, but it's a different world. So when I first came out, you know, as a recording artist, I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to do the showcases. I'm going to do, you know, I'm just going to get exposure and get practice and, you know, try to learn from the other artists around me. And it got to the point where I had done a lot of performances. I also was juggling a full-time job. I was a manager at Amazon. And it just got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I feel like I'm at a good level now where people are asking for me. Like people are you know, saying they want me at these different events. They're you know, reaching out about showcases and things. So it just got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I want to invest in this. I want to take it serious. I want to I quit my job, and then I just decided this summer, I was like, okay, I'm gonna perform all summer. and I did that, and I'm exhausted.
How's it going?
Oh, I mean, it's good. It did get to a point where I became so burnt out, though, because I was doing. So I have some people that I went to school with like a long time ago who, know my work ethic and everything. So they had given me opportunities. So I had a lot of paid opportunities this summer, and then I had some that were paid according to like ticket sales, that kind of thing. But it got to the point where I was like, I had to learn songs in Italian this summer.
Interesting.
Because I was with a group that sang at the Italian Fest in Cuyahoga Falls.
How'd that go?
It went well. It went really well, and it was cool, but it was hard because I was learning songs
like real work.
In a foreign language.
That's crazy.
And that same weekend, I was in another group that was doing a Mary J. Blige tribute concert, and for the Italian show, I think I had like 6 songs, and for the Mary J. Blige song, I had like 20 songs that I had to know, and in the process of rehearsing for all these shows, I had other shows every single weekend, and they were different kinds, different genres. I had a jazz show. I had all kinds of different things. So I was learning so much music. And on top of that, like I DoorDash. So there were days where I'd get up. Yeah. So I'd get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, catch that morning dash. And the whole time I'm listening I have a playlist of all the music that I need to learn, like 30 songs that I'm just listening to and singing in the car and stuff. Yeah. And, and it was like a boot camp. It was very, very, good that I had that opportunity to put myself through that. But I was like, you know what, for me to be as run down as I am, I shouldn't have any kind of worry about where my bills are coming from. For me to be putting this much work in from sun up to sundown, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like for me to not have no rest and be working and doing all these different shows and stuff, and to have people hit me up like, "Oh, I want you to be a part of this." So what has come from it is me just being more selective about what I do, because some of the opportunities I had, like I said, some were paid, some were not paid. But it's like, if I'm going to dedicate time in my evening to do this when I could be making money on DoorDash, and I have to pay attention to, my bills being paid. So I would say that's what I've gotten out of it. Just being selective and making sure that it's going to be all right, And, yeah.
I like that though. It's good to hear, because I just want to let you know you're not alone.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm right here with you for real.
It's tough. And when you love this so much, you want to take every opportunity, and you also want to be a part of everybody, of, the community and stuff. And you don't want to seem like, oh, I'm too good for that, because it's not about that at all.
Because it's more about like just being, like you said, selective of your choice, because every day you're gonna get up and get a chance, and you just gotta make the choice of like, all right, well, would this make sense to do this so it could propel me here, or would it bring me back here to go propel way over here, or something like that, so I totally get it. Like it's one of them things where I'm trusting the process, because I feel like this is where the sword becomes undeniable, because you literally are working real time and full time. Yeah, like it's real time. You as desperate for it as much as you need to pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real thing. Yes. And even with my son, it's like a real big struggle sometimes, but I love it. Yeah, because I make enough so I don't quit. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, well, I'm going to work super hard. But it's like, I'm doing enough to where it's like, it still makes sense. Yes. Because then you could be like, all right, well, I ain't no like hobo out here and making it worse for myself. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's still a good progression. Yeah. You know what I mean? A nice steady progression with it. Yeah. And even more valuable than money is energy. Like that's the most valuable currency. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely a process that's still moving. And I love it, because it still brings me happiness. Right. if I feel like I am in my purpose with this, stuff like that. So, but yeah, you're not alone. Trust me, you are not alone. Cause it can get lonely. You know, it can get lonely because you like, well, you surrounded by people that don't necessarily understand to a certain extent. Because it's hard to really grasp it until you actually paying bills and doing it. You know what I mean? So it's really a different type of gusto you gotta have. You know what I mean?
But you know what helped me was figuring out like really thinking of myself as a product and being like, okay, who is my audience? Like, what is my market?
Yep.
You know,
as an artist, because not to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good.
But as an artist, because I feel like some artists don't take themselves as like they're up here, and it's like, yeah, you as valuable as the producer, the engineer, all of that. Like you have a whole market for yourself as well.
Right.
And me and the homie Tommy Yashu, we've been working on a lot of stuff, just as far as like TV and film, stuff like that. So like that's something else I want to chop up with you about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of film and film production stuff, especially with you being in theater and stuff like that too. So that's another lane that I feel like artists kind of ignore out the gate. Like they don't think like, oh, you can make songs for TV and movies too. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to stick with the showcases. You don't have to.
And that's why versatility is important. And something else I thought about is like when you make a song, it's not really about the song. Like the song is an advertisement for the product, which is you. Yep. So like that's why like performance is really important. Like to just build your performance brand all the time and always be growing. And like you said, like, okay, I made this song and it's dope and a lot of people like it, whatever, but like can the masses appreciate it? Like that's a slippery slope though, because when you start making music for the masses, then you know you don't want to lose your heart.
Well, I wouldn't say the masses, but I would say your market.
Yeah,
you know, with your market,
whoever your market is.
You know what I'm saying? Because it is a thin line. Because you expressing yourself, but you have to sell this, you know, because you still, you know, you're trying to make money from it. You want people to, this is dope, and want to extend someone else to listen to it and stuff like that. So, I don't know, man. It's a process that I love it though. You know, it's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna keep on grinding. Yeah. You keep on grinding.
Oh yeah.
Peace and love to your career.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank you. And before you get out of here, what does expression mean to you?
Oh man, expression means the manifestation of what's inside. So, I mean, and that can be in so many different ways, you know, like the way you dress, the way you speak, the words you use, the essence. Really, honestly, expression is like the essence of you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Y'all heard it here first. Shamara MXT. Let everybody know where they can get you on the socials.
Yes. So I'm on Instagram, Shamara, SHAMARA_MXT. That's really the only one I'm active on. People find me on Facebook and I'm like, I'm sorry that you did that. So yeah, that's the one, Instagram.
Bet. Well, I enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
It was really dope.
Yeah.
Peace to y'all. This was Shamara MXT, episode 41. Peace. Yeah.